The yields, the gentleman from Mississippi, Mr. Ezell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's pretty obvious today that we have a lot of differences of opinions. I've spent my entire life until coming to Congress as a police officer, a sheriff, a chief of police, and I have seen firsthand, I have held the victim's hand who has been violently raped and abused. And let me tell you something, it is the worst thing you will ever witness in your life to see a victim of rape and terrible abuse. There's nothing that can compare to it except for murder. And that victim is no longer able to speak. But what I have seen firsthand, just how terrible it is. It's no secret here that the board is wide open. It's no secret that everything has been going on for the last 3.5 years. And what I've heard today, Ms. Lauren, with all due respect, I've heard you answer questions several times about lack of planning on the Trump administration for whatever failures they had. So tell me what some of the planning, successful planning, that we have seen over the last 3.5 years out of this Biden administration to stop some of these hundreds of thousands of people coming across this border. What have this Biden administration done in the last 3.5 years to plan and to stop what we have seen?
Yeah, I can't speak to border control issues.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but what I've heard you say multiple times, a lack of planning, a lack of planning. I hadn't seen very much planning coming out of this administration. So what I'd like to go into, what I'd like to ask Mr. Carroll and anybody else who would like to answer this, can you name some of these NGOs that have specifically taken these hundreds of millions of dollars and not used it to protect these children?
Catholic Charities, Lutheran Family Services, Jewish Family Services. I spoke to a gentleman that works in DHS. He actually sends the electronic fund transfers, and I asked him, sir, tell me who do you send, who are you responsible for, and how much is the largest check you cut? He said, I'm over Jewish Family Services, and I cut a check for $600 million. And I said, is that for like 3 years? And he told me, JJ, get in the game. That's 2 or 3 months. And it's renewable. That's one NGO. And I say, well, Catholic Charities is bigger than Jewish Family Services. Yes, they get the same or more. You're talking about billions upon billions of dollars given to NGOs to further the trafficking of everyone crossing the border, to include children.
Ms. Rodas, I understand you were on detail to care for and place children entering into the United States via the southwest border with sponsors in the United States. While serving on detail with HHS, I understand you sounded the alarm about how HHS handled these unaccompanied children. Thank you for your bravery. Do you believe any of these concerns were taken seriously?
Congressman, no, sadly I don't. And as I was raising the alarm, along with other wonderful people who were on the site, Deb White, a fellow whistleblower, we were told you were not to be investigating the sponsors. Your job is to get the child to that sponsor. When we had children who were going to addresses that we had already ID'd as having multiple children, and I'm talking to the boss, who's an attorney, my superior, the director, she said, Tara, you need to understand at HHS, we only get sued if we keep kids in care too long. We don't get sued by traffickers. That is appalling that I heard from a federal government employee regarding children who we knew were going to addresses that were already under investigation. I've never witnessed anything in my whole life. And had I not seen it with my own eyes, I'm not sure I could believe it.
And what happened as a result of you pushing the envelope?
Well, I wasn't the most popular person on the site, but when DHS whistleblower Aaron Stevenson sounded the alarm and went public in August of 2021, and I saw that they were MS-13 and 18th Street gang. My husband is from El Salvador, so I know that this is not a good thing to be giving children to MS-13. They discovered that I went to the Department of Justice, Office of Inspector General, and HHS, Office of Inspector General, and it took them less than 20 days to falsely accuse me of wrongdoing, threaten me with investigation, walk me off the site, the perp walk in front of your peers, and take my badge. So that's how much they appreciated that I was revealing that children were being sponsored by MS-13.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.